Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video I'm going to be talking to you about my birth experience. Now my little girl will be 11 weeks tomorrow. The time has gone so fast, but I really wanted to film this video just because I just feel like, for one, I had an induction, so I really want to talk about that and about how positive it can be. And if anyone else is watching this video that might be having an induction or has been discussed with their doctors about having one, then yeah, I'd really like to share my story about that, and also just share my experience about giving birth and becoming a first time mom. And as you can see, honestly, I absolutely love being a mom. My little girl, she's the most beautifulest little girl in the whole world. Honestly, I have so much love for her. And since I've had her, my camera roll is full. It's just, forget taking photos of me now. It's honestly, I take so many photos of her. They just grow up so fast. I know you have to live in the moment, but sometimes you want to capture the special times, or even just getting a little video of them when they start giggling or laughing or smiling. It's just nice to have. And also, all around the house, I've just been buying photo frames and putting loads of photos around the house. So yeah, I'm going to stop babbling on. I'm going to straight into the video. So if you're interested in seeing this video, then just keep watching. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe, and let's get into the video. So like I said, I actually had an induction, and that was going to be done at 38 weeks, which it was done at 38 weeks. So that's what was discussed at my appointments. It's funny because I basically had all my appointments at one hospital, and then 2 days before I was shopping. Yeah, that's it. I was shopping with mom, and I got a phone call, and they was like, "Oh, we're full. Can you go to a different hospital?" Which I was like, yes, because I'd been so nervous and I had so much anxiety. Also, if you can see some of my knuckles, I just dry skin and eczema from overwashing my hands. So and yeah, so that's what that's from. It's actually healing quite a lot now because it was way worse than this. But yeah, I get a lot of dry skin over my hands and a lot of eczema. It used to be really bad at one time, but it's actually getting a lot better now. So yeah, so they asked me if I'd go to a different hospital, which, like I said, I had so much anxiety around the pregnancy. I don't know why that was, to be honest. There was no reason for anything to ever go wrong in the pregnancy. It's just that, I don't know, 9 months is such a long time. And to be honest, I just couldn't wait for it to just be here and physically have her in my arms. So yeah, for me, pregnancy was very I didn't really struggle much. I was sick about 3 times and had a little bit of nausea and things like that, but overall my pregnancy was very easy and straightforward. But you just read so many things that happen to other women, and it's just, I don't know, it just really gave me so much anxiety around it. So for me, I just could not wait to have her in my arms and know that she was safe and here and well, because I just feel like until your baby is physically in your arms, I just felt like I just could not relax at all. Yeah, so I agreed to obviously go to this different hospital, and to be honest, in the long run, which I will speak about, I am very glad that I did. I love the hospital so much more. Well, I say love the hospital, I don't like hospitals, but I really preferred it over the one that I was actually going to. It was much more well, for one, it was easier just to get there. The hospital itself just looked nicer. It was all in one building. And also, because I was having an induction, they basically said that my partner would have to leave if I wasn't in labour. So that's the other thing with this hospital that I ended up going to. He was allowed to stay the whole night basically until I was in labour. So I went in on the Sunday, which is exactly 38 weeks, and I had something called a sweep. So this is where they I think it's this gel stuff, and they obviously insert it. The midwife said to me that this would take, usually most women have 3 to 4 of these sweeps. Well, I was terrified because to me it was quite painful. I've read online when I was having it, I was like, what is a sweep? Because I didn't even know. I knew that I was having an induction, but I didn't know that was what I was going to be having. So I was reading online, a lot of women said like they didn't work or they had to have it done a few times, and to be honest I was quite terrified because it was quite painful. And I know it's not painful for everyone, but obviously I suppose it just depends on the person. So I had this sweep done and she was like, you can have one done every 4 hours. So I was like, okay. But the good thing was as well is that I was actually in a room by myself. So my partner was in there, and yeah, it was just us two in like a room by ourselves, had like a toilet in, and you know, because I've never actually stayed in a hospital before or anything like that, so I didn't really know what to expect. I thought that I might have been on a ward with other women, but it was really nice that you could just like relax and have your own space. Yeah, so I had this sweep done. It was around about, I want to say it was about 6 o'clock, and they constantly monitor the baby, they do your blood pressure, and just keep coming in and checking on you basically. So she was like, you need to get up, move around, like keep walking. They did say they was going to bring me like one of those exercise ball things, but I never actually ended up getting one of those. And when I was there, my midwife swapped with another midwife, so it was like the one did that and then I had another one coming after. So yeah, so once that was done, I got up, we went for a walk, and then I actually ended up ordering some food to the hospital, and my fiance went out and fetched it from outside the front, which I recommend doing, honestly. I mean, because I came in quite late, it was around about 4 o'clock, 4:30 that I actually ended up getting there, because they didn't actually call me till then to come in for it. I did come around and offer if I wanted anything to eat, but I am quite a fussy eater, so I like declined that, and I thought that we'd just order something. Then I started getting slight like period cramps, like very mild. There wasn't painful at all, and I thought, oh, I hope it's working. And I was saying to my fiance, I was like, I really do not want another one. Like it was so painful. You also bleed a little bit as well. And he was like, yeah, I think let's prepare ourselves to have at least another 2. And like, I know it was right, because she said most people have 3 to 4. But I was literally hoping, I was like, oh, I really don't want another one. I really do not want another one. Yeah, so I was trying to prepare myself for the reality that this might happen. But I actually ended up ordering like chicken and chips, like fresh chicken, and I had it hot because I know a lot of people say about to get baby moving and things, have like hot stuff. I don't know how true that is, but I had like fresh hot chicken, and I also had like peri chips. So yeah, I ended up having that. And then a few hours later, I was getting a few more like stronger period cramps, and I feel like a lot of women would probably describe it as that. But there still wasn't like extremely painful, but there was like quite often, like maybe like every like 5-10 minutes at this point. And then, like I said, the midwives would constantly come in. I said it was like what I was having and experiencing, and they was just like, just relax, just, you know, see how you go. Obviously waiting for that 4-hour mark. I'd say again, fast forward another few hours, and the pains that I started experiencing was unmatched. Honestly, the amount of pain that I was in by this point, it was actually unbearable, to be honest. A few hours later, I was getting these awful pains, and honestly, it's like I said, it was unbearable. It was the worst pain that I've ever felt, and I kept calling my fiance kept calling the midwives in, but because there was basically an emergency C-section, and all the midwives and stuff, they had to go to that. So the hospitals that I went to, there was a lot of like training midwives, which I didn't actually mind, because, you know, they all seemed to know what they was doing, and obviously everyone's got to train somewhere. So I know some people might be like, they want, you know, someone that's been working there for a while and things, but I didn't mind. They was always really lovely. And again, they was checking, and I kept calling them in. They was checking baby, checking me, and the one, she sat down on the bed, and I was like, I was literally near enough in tears at this point, and she was like, I know it's painful, hun, but you've got to do it. And I was thinking, you don't know how, like, I felt like they might have thought that I was exaggerating how much pain I was actually in, but in reality, like, I feel like I've got a good pain threshold. So in reality, it was very painful, and I just felt like they didn't understand how much pain I was actually in. This was probably like the third time that we'd called them in. She said, I'll give you some paracetamol. I thought like come on, I am giving birth here, or about to give birth. I do not need paracetamol. They can barely get rid of a headache, honestly. I feel like paracetamol are like rubbish because they never work half the time. So yeah, so they offered paracetamol. I ended up having the paracetamol. And don't even ask me why I had paracetamol, to be honest, because like I said, it obviously didn't work. I was in a lot of pain. I could barely sit down. I had to keep standing up. At one point I was kneeled over on the floor. I was in that much pain. I was in a lot of pain. Like I said, I was on the floor at one point. I couldn't sit down. I kept feeling like really like faint and dizzy. Like I can't even explain the pain that I was feeling. The midwife that was meant to be checking up on me, but obviously, like I said, had to do emergency C-section. She came back in eventually, and now we was on to like the next day, very, very early morning. And she said that you could have an injection in your leg that was pain relief. Obviously, I actually didn't know what it was called because I didn't end up having it. But she said you can't be. There's a certain amount that you have to be. So if you're too far gone, you can't have it. So she had to obviously check to see if I was eligible to have that. I don't know what the name of it was. I just know she said that you would have it in your leg, and I knew that I didn't want like an epidural. I don't know if women have those for natural labour as well as C-sections. I think it might be for a C-section. I'm not actually sure. But I didn't really want one of those anyway, because I've heard a lot of stories about like it can hurt your back and like things like that. So I didn't want one of those. So she ended up checking to see if I could have the pain relief, and surprise, surprise, I couldn't because I was too far gone. And she was like, we basically need to get you to a labour suite, like a delivery room now, because I was about to give birth. She ended up getting like a wheelchair, and she was like, oh, sit down, we'll wheel you around to the delivery suite. I tried to sit down. There was no way in this earth that I could have sat down on that chair. That sounds very dramatic, but it's true. There was no way I could sit down on that chair. And to be honest, when she come in, before she offered me the injection, I even said to her that I felt like I needed to push it like a tiny little bit. I feel like because I said most women have 3 to 4 sweeps, I just felt like they didn't expect me to go into labour so quickly after having one. So yeah, like I said, they ended up getting a wheelchair, and she said to me to sit down. I tried to sit down, like I said, that was just not happening at all. So yeah, I ended up having to go around to delivery, but I ended up walking. And she was like, well, you can walk, but make sure you're covered up. So I ended up getting like the bed sheets, like wrapping it around me while I'm in like pain, having to walk down the corridors. Luckily there was no one actually around. So, and you know what, it's so true, when you're in that moment, you do not care. You're just not bothered. I honestly, I didn't care how I looked. I had all my bags in the room. I didn't even care where them bags was gonna end up. I just wanted to be pain free. That is literally it. Ended up going around to the delivery suite, and I sat on the bed, but I kind of, because the room wasn't even ready, like leaning back, but like not directly like flat, if that makes, like if I was sitting down, I don't know why I made that so difficult to say, but like now I'm sitting down, but I kind of like was leaning back a little bit, and straight away I just needed to push straight away. And she was like, come on, you need to make sure you're sitting properly. So I had to sit properly. She was like, I think we're going to be having a baby now. So I was like, okay, that is, yeah. Do you know what, I could not believe it. And the fact that I ended up having gas and air in the end, which I wouldn't actually say was even that good, to be honest. You feel everything. and like you really do feel everything. To be honest, I found it more painful having the contractions than like actually pushing, and that's just I think that's just because, like I said, I had no pain relief. When I tried to sit down, I mean, I bet like her head was not even that far from coming out, because I literally only pushed for like half an hour and there, you know, she came out. So when they like sit down, I'm like, I'm practically going to be sitting on her head. That's probably why it hurt so much, because of like how far down she was. And obviously I know your cervix had to be open. I think it's 10 centimetres. Yeah, like I said, I did end up having gas and air, but you can still feel everything. And having them contractions is way worse than the pushing part for me personally. But because I felt like I went through that with no pain relief, and it was really painful, and I don't know, I kind of felt really exhausted. So then when you go to the delivery suite and they gave me gas and air, and then you're trying to like push as well, it's like, I don't know, you just feel like, you can't not feel like giving up, but you just feel, I just felt so exhausted. I really, really did. I was literally just thinking, I even said it, I was like, I remember saying, I was like, I can't do it, I can't do it. And like, honestly, like I said, you're not even bothered what you say when you're like giving birth. It's just, it just doesn't even cross your mind. Yeah, like I said, I ended up pushing for around about half an hour, and then out come my little princess, which to this day, I just cannot believe that I gave birth. So basically, throughout my pregnancy, I have an anterior placenta. I also had a low-lying placenta, so I didn't even think that I was going to be able to give birth naturally. I thought that I was going to have a C-section, and that's what they kept saying to me. And I'd say I think it might have been around 5 weeks before I was due for the induction, my placenta had actually moved up. So obviously it was still anterior, but it was not covering my cervix. So honestly, I am really happy about that, because I just really wanted to give birth naturally. That was, if I could say anything, that was my only thing that I was bothered about in pregnancy. I didn't have like a birth plan. Obviously I knew I was going to have an induction, but so I didn't really plan it. For me it was just for me it was like whatever the best option was, whichever it was to get her here safely, then that's what happened, and that's what I did. So yeah, like I said, I'm still amazed that I managed to give birth naturally, and I would say without pain relief, because gas and air, you still feel everything. To be honest, I don't feel like it knocked me out. You know, like to say about it like knocking you out, but I don't feel like it did knock me out, to be honest. Put it this way, I still knew what I was saying, and you could still feel everything. So there we go. And they also kept saying to me not to have so much, because I don't know whether it affected like the heart rate, or whether she was like basically taking like a deep breath in of like fresh air. Well, I'll say fresh air, you know what I mean? Rather than like using the gas and air. So I don't know whether it can affect something like the heart rate or something like that. So that was the other thing. So even though I had this gas and air, I was told not to keep using it so much. Like I said, then out come my little princess, and yeah, like I said, I just can't even believe it, and I feel so lucky. I could honestly, like, I could literally just cry thinking about her. I just feel so lucky. I'm actually gonna cry. I'm actually starting to cry. Like I said, I just feel so lucky. She's the most perfect little girl. I am absolutely obsessed with her. My whole family are just so in love with her. After I gave birth and I got put upstairs on another ward, and then I just had to stay in overnight, and yeah, that was yeah. Then I ended up going home at like 7 o'clock. I went home at 7 o'clock the next day. So she was actually born on Halloween. So yeah, you know what? It's so funny, because no one in my family has ever been born on like an event, like, if you know what I mean, like Christmas Eve or Easter or Christmas Day. Like, no one's ever been born anything like that. So the fact she was born on Halloween, it's really funny. She was born quite small. She was only born £5.13. So practically all the clothes that I bought to the hospital for her, which was, did I have any newborn? I think I just felt like I bought 0 to 3. Oh, I had a few newborn, but I don't think I ended up taking them with me. No, I think I basically had so much 0 to 3, and I ended up having to buy loads of newborn stuff. I had a little bit, but I didn't expect it to be so tiny. So yeah, like I said, I bought a lot after I came home. I bought a lot of newborn stuff, but then she was basically too big for newborn, so I had to buy like first size or tiny baby because she was just that small. And only now, 11 weeks on, she still fits in some newborn, but she's just fitting into 0 to 3, and even some that's too big for her. And she's nearly £10 now, so she's a few ounces off. So yeah, she was very small. I couldn't imagine having to push out a bigger baby. Some people say it's easier, I don't know, but yeah, as you came out with the most beautiful hair. If you've seen on my Instagram, she was born with such lovely hair, and it's just, honestly, it's grown so fast. Like, it's probably like this long now. It's like starting to cover down her ears and everything. It's just so beautiful. But yeah, like I said, going back to my story, I feel like I've got off track then. Yeah, I went up to a different ward, and I was there for like a night, and I got discharged the next day around 7 o'clock. And yeah, that is my whole birth experience. Like I said, I feel like I've said it so many times, but I just can't believe that she's here and she's well. And yeah, like I said, she's just perfect, and I just feel like it's the most magical experience giving birth. Even though you are in a lot of pain when giving birth, it still is the most magical. And when you give birth and they put your little baby on your chest, honestly, and you just look at them, oh, she was so perfect, honestly. I got like a picture of her when she was first born. Oh my god, she's like, she was like a little doll because she was just so tiny, and she's very like, I'd say she's like quite long and not like, she's not really like chubby. I know like some have like really like chubby little babies and they're really cute. She was born like quite long and like slimish, I'd say, but yeah, oh, I love her so much. But yeah, that was my whole birth experience. If you have any questions or anything at all, then just leave a comment down below and I will get back to you, or you can obviously drop a message on Instagram or anything like that. And also, I just thought I know it's my birth story, but just thought I'd quickly mention, being a first time mom it's really tiring, but it's really rewarding when, you know, every day you get to look at like your little angel, and she, like, the love that you feel is just unmatched. It is something else that it's such a lovely experience, it really is. And it's just so weird, isn't it, that like you give birth and then you get discharged from hospital and it's like, there you go now, have your baby. And you know, you're left with like a little baby. You're like, look, for me, I hadn't even like held a baby. That is how inexperienced I was about having a baby. But like I say, 11 weeks in, I feel like we're getting a little like bit of a good routine. But she does have a little bit of reflux. She also is a little bit colicky as well, but I feel like slowly she's growing out of that as she's getting a bit older. So weird that they like just depend on you so much because you're their parents. If you've had one child, 5 children, it doesn't matter. I feel like every time you have a newborn and have a child, I just feel like you're probably going to have the same emotions. And yeah, it's just wonderful, and I'm really excited for her. Like, even though I don't want her to grow up, I also can't wait for her to like be like more aware and like, you know, be able to take her out to like the zoos, and because I absolutely love the zoos. Like, yeah, take her out to zoos or like sea life, or even like to the park or things like that. And like, she's like will be more aware and things. But at the minute, I'm really enjoying the newborn stage and just having her and like just being able to cuddle her and like pick her up. But yeah, but so far, yeah, I am just loving everything about it. Yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to thumbs it up. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you all in my next one.